Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I am on a journey to find out everything I can about Japan, the people, the culture, the language, the food. I'm not going to mention the cat cafes today. I still need to find a video on all the different cat cafes. If you know one, pop it down in the comments. But today, I'm going to be combining my love, for the Pokemon, and looking at the ones that are based on terrifying myths. Now, I will have to put a disclaimer out here. I'm not 100% sure that all of these are going to be based on like Japanese folklore mythology, but I'm sure some of them will. Fingers crossed. So yeah, so let us sit back and find out which Pokemon are like based on the like terrifying myths.
And get started. At number 10 we have Jinx. Well, to be honest with you, Jinx can already get away with being creepy without a backstory, but in any case, a bit of inspiration for Jinx's design comes from a Japanese fashion trend called Gangoro. They basically wear a huge amount of makeup, very colorful clothing, and they usually have very, very bright blonde hair.
I'm gonna sort of say that although that is odd and very Oompa Loompa-like, I wouldn't really say it's terrifying me much. I mean, I guess it might be different if I was surrounded by people like that.
The over-the-top users were called Yamanba, which is actually a reference to a creepy mythical story.
There we go.
This reference comes from the legend of Yamauba, which are flesh-eating women who live alone in the icy mountains. So with their mean selves, they would lure travelers to their cabin so they could eat them for dinner. So that sounds...
okay, that's a little bit more scary. I don't want to be eaten for dinner.
Absolutely fantastic. Creepy, icy cannibal lady wanting to chew on you. Yeah, no, don't talk to strangers. You will die. Moving on to number 9, we have Lunala. This Pokemon is so pretty, but some of the inspiration has some very dark stories. One possibility is that
I'm not very familiar with Lunala. I've not finished Sun and Moon yet. I just couldn't get into it.
Lunala was based off of Camazotz, which was a Mayan bat god that ruled over death, sacrifice, and the night. His name literally means death bat.
Okay.
Death bat.
There we go. That was not Japanese, that was Mayan. Sorry.
The show. One story with him is that he tricked the father of other Mayan.
But Pokemon are Japanese, that ties it back into the channel. Don't you agree, Psyduck?
Gods chopped off his head and then made the other gods use it as a ball in future ball games. That's not very nice. Another possibility is
Palalotti. That's okay, now it's Aztec god.
Papalotl? Holy mother of everything.
I'm not even going to
attempt
the name on
screen, which was a skeletal Aztec goddess with bladed bat wings. That actually sounds really freaking cool. But she was a star demon who threatened to devour people during solar eclipses. I'm about to butcher this name. Another possible inspiration was Pia Pia Makawulu, which was a Hawaiian mythical creature, which would make sense because Alola is based off of Hawaii.
That would make more sense than the others. And it's like, where are you getting your sources from? If you just sort of saying it might be this, it might be that. I want definitive answers.
Basically, he was a creepy 8-eyed bat creature, but it would make a lot of sense
really
considering
remind me
Lunala
much
has
of
that
Lunala.
additional eye in its full moon form and whenever it attacks. Moving
That's not really 8 though, is it? Lucario.
on to number 8, we have Lucario. Lucario is definitely one of the most loyal Pokemon that you could have, but its origins can also be a little bit dark. Lucario seems to be based off of the Egyptian god of funerals and death. Even though I feel that Anubis is pretty popular and a lot of people know who he is, Osiris actually took over the role of the funeral and death god. The cute puppy dog of death god apparently didn't play that big of a role in Egyptian mythology, but I don't care, because he's my favorite. Anubis was associated with mummification.
I don't have a favourite Egyptian god.
And so of course he had to know how to do it. The progress is very real and was used in the ancient times, and it still exists today, except I think they do it in a much different way. The old way was shoving a hook up the nose, then pulling the brain out.
Bringing the brain out, yeah.
Then once they...
Language. Is it really nasty? I mean, you're dead. Doesn't really matter to you, does it?
pull the brain out the nose, they remove all the organs from the body. After juicing the body, cleaning it up with spices, and filling it with sand, they wrap it up to become the traditional mummy that we see in history books. Anubis also weighed the hearts of the deceased in order to judge if they were worthy of entering the afterlife. If they...
So why was it a big hippo in Moon Knight? I'm confused now. I'm confused. Was Moon Knight lying to me? Was that Osiris, though? Because they did say Osiris took over. I can't remember. What was the name of the hippo in Moon Knight? Let me know.
They weren't worthy, he would either eat the heart or feed it to Amit, who was also the eater.
Amit. That was the baddie in Moon Knight, wasn't it? Amit. I remember these things.
Of hearts. Anubis is able to see the aura of life forms by weighing hearts, and Lucario can see life form auras. That is definitely a reference to the jackal-headed god. At number 7, we have Cacturn. This grass dark type is already pretty creepy considering it loves to follow tired travelers around until they can't run away. But what...
Well, it's a dark type Pokemon. They're all meant to be creepy, the dark ones.
Lovely Scarecrow is he based off of? In European folklore, there is a monster called the Bubak who is either portrayed as a scarecrow or a man with a sack. Apparently, he takes adults and children and weaves clothing from their souls after he has killed them during the full moon.
Bet that's comfy.
Why? I don't understand, that's so mean. Just go to the freaking store and buy a sweater. But monsters don't want to do that, apparently. In some stories, he is seen driving a cart pulled by black cats, which is actually really cool and I want one. Both Cacturn and Bubak follows people around until they die or whatever they want to do with them. Don't trust that smile. He's mean. At number 6, we have Mawile. Mawile is based off of the Japanese story called The Two-Mouthed Woman. The Japanese name for it is Futakushi Onna. I butchered that, holy wow. But anyway, the story is about a very poor farmer who is thrilled about his new wife because she doesn't really eat anything, so he doesn't have to.
I was like reading that in my head. That's why I paused it then. I should really speak out loud, shouldn't I? Futakishuma. I can't remember what the hyphen is in pronunciation.
Pay for anything. It saved the farmer a lot of money, so obviously this made him very happy. Weeks turned into months, and he noticed that his grain supplies and crops were getting strangely low. One terrifying night, he awoke to see his sleeping wife devouring his crops with a second mouth on the back of her head. The strands of hair continued to feed the gaping mouth non-stop until it ate every last piece of food on the property. She probably should have mentioned that before they started dating. I think that's a very big thing. So Mawile is based off of this story. We could obviously see the mouth. It's pretty apparent, but I really think this reference is pretty cool. Moving on to number 5, we have Sableye. Sableye definitely looks like a gremlin of some sort and was possibly based off of the 1955 Hopkinsville goblin case. Basically, a farmhouse was
possibly, you know, even Psyduck's given up and is a bit like, can't cope. I want definitive answers.
Invaded by a huge pack of 3-foot alien thingies who had bright, glowing eyes much like Sableye. They were shot on sight, however the bullets seemed to bounce right off of them, and they moved in a really quick, swaying-like motion. These little munchkins definitely look like our lovely little Pokemon, and their personalities even kind of match Sableye. They are known to be hurtful little troublemakers, and Sableye can have the prankster.
I guess it's like, because of just how many Pokemon there are now, they need to take inspiration from wherever they can find it.
Ability, so the resemblance is impeccable. At number 4, we have Slowking. This lovable Pokemon resembles a cute hippo of some sort with a hermit crab on its head. However, there.
Have you ever seen a hippo? They do not look anything like that, in my opinion. A hippo? I don't know. Nah.
There's more to this shell crown than you think. Its crown is possibly based off of the Saze Oni.
I don't like the possibly based.
Which is a magical sea demon from Japanese folklore. The most popular legend is that a group of pirates rescued a drowning woman from the sea and led her onto the ship. They thought she was pretty hot, so they wanted to do the naughty with her. She agreed, but she cut their man parts off, and this obviously made them a little bit upset. So they threw her back into the ocean, where she transformed into her true monstrous form. She made a deal with them. If they wanted their man parts back, they would have to give her a huge amount of gold. So Slowking is based off of a gold digger water demon thing. Okay. Moving on to number 3, we have Sneasel. Sneasel is based off of the Kamaitachi, which is a weasel demon from Japanese mythology. These weasels have sickles for hands, much like Sneasel, but they hunt humans in packs of 3. Each of them have their own job because they're very organized little critters, apparently. One is supposed to knock you down, the second one cuts off your leg or chops off a piece of flesh off your leg, and the last one sews it up as if nothing has ever happened. This is supposed to happen extremely fast, so you don't even realize that you've been attacked. Legend also says that it doesn't hurt and there's
surely you'd notice if you got knocked down, even if it happened quickly. It'd be like 1 minute you're upright, the next minute you're on the floor. I think you'd notice.
No bleeding at all because the third demon puts medicine on it so you can't feel anything or something. So basically every time you trip in Japan, a weasel just chopped off your leg. Alright, Sneasel and its evolution are both extremely fast Pokemon, so who knows? Maybe they like to chop off pieces of flesh from its opponent's legs. At number 2, we have Espeon. It's so cute! And we know that all the evolutions are based off of phoenix foxes, but they also have traces of mythology and other animals within them. In Espeon's case, it has a lot of cat-like features. Espeon as well as Meowstic are based off of the Bakeneko, which is another demon from Japanese mythology. Disclaimer, I cannot speak Japanese, so bear with me. These creatures have split tails, and much like the fox or the kitsune, they can shapeshift and learn human speech. They can disguise themselves as humans and even possess humans. One of the cruelest things they can do is manipulate the dead to do their bidding. That's very mean, especially thinking that you just lost a loved one, and then the Bakeneko could make that loved one pop up at your door just to taunt you. These
cremation.
Creatures seem to really hate humans. One
that
of
will
their
solve that
pastimes
problem.
Is apparently sucking out the spirit of other humans. Another activity is joining wolf packs just to attack humans. I'm glad that Espeon isn't really that mean, and wolf packs do not go and
Espeon doesn't really strike me as a mean Pokemon at all.
Attack humans, come on, they're more scared of you than these myths are funny. Good puppy. So that is Espeon's origin. We have covered many creepy stories about our favorite Pokemon origins, and hopefully you still love them. All of these were pretty terrifying to me, so despite the order, I thought that they were equally scary.
Was that it?
Considering these are supposed to be cute little
there not
creatures from
more?
a video game. But let's go ahead and cover the last Pokemon.
Okay,
At number
one
we have
more.
Frostlass. Frostlass is a female-only Pokemon and is based off of the Japanese myth of a very beautiful ghost woman. She's called Yuki Onna, who wears a white kimono and has very long black hair. We see a lot of scary Japanese movies such as The Grudge and The Ring with the creepy long black hair and the white outfits. It's kind of a traditional thing in Japan. Anyways, some stories say that Yuki Onna would stand around hugging babies and would ask travelers to hug that child. When the person would, the child would become heavier until the holder becomes covered in snow. He or she eventually freezes to death as they are not able to move.
This is why you don't hug children. Just stay away from them.
If someone didn't want to hug the kid, then she
That'd
would
be me.
push them off a cliff, because she seems like a nice woman.
Nice. Okay. Don't turn down hugging babies if you're by a cliff. If you're on like low floor, it's
Those who were able to withstand her test would get super strong. She has a lot of ways of committing cruel things, such as stealing the livers of children and freezing people to death. She either led you away from a safe zone until you died of exposure to the cold weather, or she was capable of freezing your entire body within seconds. Or she just wanted to push you off a cliff because she felt like it. A lot of the tales are different. One is that if you made eye contact with her, she would eat you alive.
Easy.
And here's another one that I would totally die at. Sometimes she would appear at a mountain hut and ask for water. If you didn't know who she was and you gave her water, then she would kill you. It's all a freaking trick. The right response is giving her hot tea. Then she'll let you live. This chick has issues. How would you know that? That sounds like something I would do.
That's a bit weird, isn't it? I need water. Well, here's the water. That was wrong. Death. Really wanted tea.
Just kidding. If she happened to be in a good mood, she might let you live if you happen to encounter her. But most of the time, she's usually really bad news. So that is all the Pokemon that we're going to be covering today. I hope you enjoy these lovely mythical stories.
Thank you for that. I didn't like the fact that it was all like maybe based on this, possibly based on this. I wanted more definitive answers. Obviously, like is it Morale? I can't remember that Pokemon's name. That is very definitely that story kind of thing. But some of the others, I think, might have been a little bit more of a stretch to get to there. We need something from the official Pokemon company to sort of say. Anyway, let's see. This was a video by Tricky Wee. So if you did like their video, go over to their channel. I will leave a link in the description and give it a like, because you know they put more effort into that video than I put into this one. But if you did enjoy my video, then please go down and hit that like button. And while you're down there, if you have any suggestions for videos that you'd like me to react to, hopefully more based in Japanese kind of area, then please let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see more of my reaction videos, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. But until next time, just be nice to people. Bye.